And let's get into it with one of our favorite interstellar experts, Harvard Professor Avi Loeb. Professor, welcome back. Starting with these new images from ESA's ExoMars orbiter. What stands out to you? Any surprises here?
Well, the fact is that we see an image very similar to the Hubble Space Telescope image that was obtained on July 21st, qualitatively speaking. Of course, the Hubble Space Telescope is a much bigger has a much bigger mirror, 2.4 meters in diameter, whereas this camera that was used on ExoMars is much smaller, and as a result, it the low surface brightness in the envelope surrounding the core of the plume of the glow around the 3I Atlas. And I calculated that, in fact, the resolution of the camera of ExoMars is about 340 and we see that the image, the glow around 3I Atlas, is about 2 resolution elements, 2 pixels. We can tell that because the stars are point sources in the background, and they have a width that is roughly half of the width of the image of 3I Atlas. So altogether, we can see the core that was already apparent in the Hubble Space Telescope image. Of course, there is a much better camera that we hope to get the data from. It's the HiRISE camera on the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter that is 50 centimeters in diameter, and therefore will allow us a pixel size of 30 kilometers when 3I Atlas was closest to Mars at a distance of 30 million kilometers. The challenge there is that NASA is currently under government shutdown, and so we cannot get any communications from NASA, and that prevents the flow of data that was already obtained.
Yeah, so that data has already been collected. That picture, those images, they already exist. It's just we have no idea when we're going to see them, right?
Right, and some people ask me about the government shutdown, whether there is any conspiracy to hold off the data from the public side. And I said, well, the delay is not a signature of extraterrestrial intelligence. It's more a signature of terrestrial stupidity.
Yeah, which we have quite a bit of here on Earth. You've also spoken about, and you know, speaking of conspiracy theories, like you just wrote about the first images from NASA's Perseverance rover, and this got a lot of people talking, specifically that distinct stripe that had many people thinking that we were looking at a massive Manhattan-sized cylinder or possibly a tube there, and that looks very different from the images that we just saw captured. Can you explain the difference here? Are we looking at some sort of like motion blur?
Yeah, this is just motion blur. It may be one of the 2 moons of Mars, either Phobos or Deimos. Again, because of the government shutdown, there is not much information about the direction where this image was taken. And I calculated that it's fully consistent with a long exposure of over 10 seconds of one of the moons of Mars. And of course, what you would see in such an image is a sequence of spheres that are just like beans on a pod, you know, and that's what we see as an elongated image. There was a lot of speculations on social media, but I figured that either it's one of the moons, most likely one of the moons of Mars, or perhaps a very long exposure of 3I Atlas. But in all cases, it has nothing to do with the cylindrical shape of the source. It's more to do with the exposure being long and seeing many images of the source, one after the other, as it moves across the Martian sky.
And every time we do this, I think I'm going to ask you at the end, like, on the Loeb scale, how are things looking based on the limited information that you've gotten so far? Still looking comedy?
Well, between, I would say, 30 to 40% that it's not a natural object, because we don't see a beautiful tail behind this object the way we see around comets. But I think most likely it's natural, but nevertheless, it has all these anomalies that make it unusual. It's in the plane of the planets around the sun. It's also coming close to Mars and Jupiter. It's very big, apparently, relative to the previous objects that we found from interstellar space. And it also had this extension, glow, towards the sun rather than away from the sun. And so we have to monitor it and figure out whether it's of any technological origin that could pose a threat to humanity. And I wrote to the United Nations a white paper suggesting that there will be a committee evaluating all the signatures of stellar objects to alert us against any potential threats.
I mean, I know it's just a ballpark, but 30 to 40% that it could be something else, that is pretty significant coming from you. Avi Loeb, Professor, thank you so very much.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.